said, where are they? Where are these? They're in here.
Just like areas.
They were in the perfect spot. Thank you.
All rise.
All right, you ready to see it? James, you can talk with us, please.
Yes, sir. State call Dr. Craig Kohler. Back to the stand.
Also, Mr. Cameraman had a communication that was forwarded to me by the citizen, well, actually by the clerk, indicated that someone that was watching this broadcast and thought they saw a juror's face. So if you could.
It was when they stood up and she kind of went into the shop, but I quickly moved it off.
If
I'm
you
pretty sure
could,
that's when it was.
if you could, because obviously BD has the right to be here, but I have to give direction that you cannot videotape the jurors, either directly or indirectly, or even by accident. Because obviously people are watching this and jurors' faces and identities should not be known.
As soon as she came in, I quickly moved it off. That's-
So noted. Do what you can. All right, we're back on the record. You may proceed. Let's go ahead and swear him again. Contact here.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear in front of the testimony shall be in this court should be the truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
You may move again. Please state and spell your name for the record.
Craig Kohlmeyer, CraigKuhlmeier.
Dr. Kohlmeyer, let's talk about November the 18th of 2010. Do you remember that day?
Yes,
I want to talk to you specifically about that morning. Is that okay?
absolutely.
All right. Who were you with that morning?
My wife,
What's your wife's name?
Aaliyah Stoddard,
And around 8:30, 9 o'clock that morning, where were you and Aaliyah Stoddard?
at the post office.
What post office?
The Dunwoody post office. It's been a while. I don't remember the name of it.
But it was a post office in Dunwoody?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with Dunwoody Prep or the Dunwoody Daycare?
I am.
All right. In relation to Dunwoody Prep, where was the post office located?
Right across the street.
About how far would you say?
70 yards in that ballpark.
All right.
You said 70?
70.
Okay.
And so you're at the post office that morning, and tell us what, if anything, that you see or hear that's unusual.
I pulled up to run out and get some stamps, and as I was exiting my vehicle and walking towards the entrance, I heard gunshots and turned around and started walking back towards my truck.
So let me stop you right there. You said as you pulled towards the entrance,
No, I was already out of my vehicle.
Okay.
As I was walking up towards the entrance.
you were walking towards the entrance.
Correct.
Was that towards or away from towards the entrance of the post office?
Yes, towards the post office.
And you said you heard gunshots.
Correct.
How many gunshots?
Like two or three, something like that.
And once you heard these gunshots, can you tell the jury what, if anything, you did next?
I turned around, and as I was walking past my vehicle, now my vehicle's at the driver's, I'm on the driver's side. As I'm walking by my vehicle, I said to my wife, I think somebody got shot. I heard gunshots. And then, do you want me to keep going on what happened?
Sure.
Okay. So as I was walking up, is when I saw an individual walking by with the gun in their hand.
Okay, so before we get there, you said as you were walking up, where were you walking up to?
I was walking towards the daycare.
Is that where the gunshots came from?
Correct.
Okay, so you hear gunshots and you're walking towards the gunshots. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, you have to answer yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, why are you walking? Is there any particular reason that you're walking towards the gunshots?
Because I heard gunshots and I was walking towards to see what was going on.
All right, and you said you saw an individual walk in front of you.
Yeah, he walked right in front of me.
Can you, about how far when you say in front of you?
I would say probably from here to back out into the end of the hallway.
Out of those doors to the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you describe this individual for us?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I remember very pale skin, very dark beard, super dark beard, jeans, a hooded sweatshirt, heavy clothing, hat on, and I just remember, watching the individual walk by, and I just remember the glare from the sun hitting the gun as he was walking back to the vehicle. And I remember thinking to myself, I was kind of waiting for somebody to say, stop, replay that again, almost like it was a movie, basically.
Let's talk about the gun. Can you describe the gun to us?
Yeah, it was chrome.
Chrome, is it silver?
Yeah,
Okay. And what type of gun was it?
it was an automatic.
You talked about a beard,
Mhm.
and you said it was very black beard.
Very back, like almost like a Halloween type of beard.
Did it appear fake to you?
Completely. I think that's why the process of a movie kind of jumped into my head.
Because the beard appeared fake.
Yeah.
How was this individual walking? When you say he walks in front of you, is there any particular pace? How does he appear to be walking?
Very casually back towards the vehicle. And I just remember having eye contact with him, the individual, all the way back towards the front of the vehicle that he got into. Like there was no break in contact whatsoever.
How far was this individual's vehicle from you?
About the same distance. Just he was here, the vehicle was there.
We're still talking about from where you are to the
Correct.
to the hallway.
Correct.
Can you describe the vehicle for us?
Yeah, it was a minivan, gray bluish color.
And what happened once the individual got into the minivan?
Once he got into the individual got into the minivan, that's kind of when I figured out something was wrong. Because you know when you get into your car, you have to put your foot on the brake to put it in reverse, and you could see the individual struggling with that. And at that point is when I think the adrenaline kind of hit the guy, and then.
I'm going to sustain the objection as far as you can testify what you observed.
Okay.
It's not speculate at this point in time.
Okay.
You may continue. Did you need to continue?
Yes, sir.
You
Go
may
ahead.
continue.
Sorry. Just was struggling to put the car in reverse, and then finally put it in drive, and then took off.
What did you do after the individual took off or left the premises in the van that you described?
Ran up to the victim and called 911 at the same time.
So let's get a little bit deeper into that. You said you ran up to the victim. Where was the victim in relation to where you saw the defendant?
15, 20 feet the opposite direction.
Okay, still as far away from you to the end of the hallway?
Correct.
Okay, and so you ran from where you are to the end of the hallway, but towards the victim in the opposite direction?
Correct.
Okay, can you tell us what you saw when you got to the victim?
Excuse me.
Kleenex.
Yeah.
Kleenex.
The victim was laying down on the ground, gasping, struggling to breathe.
Gasping, struggling to breathe.
Yeah, correct.
Did you see any blood?
I did.
Can you tell us what you saw?
He was bleeding heavily, and it was just, I remember seeing it run down the street into the parking lot.
Were you the only person there, or were there other people other than your wife and yourself?
I think me and my wife were the only ones there at the time. And then other individuals, other people started coming out from a doctor's office and I think the daycare.
Did you attempt to communicate with the victim that was laying on the ground
I did.
bleeding?
I was checking his pulse.
Could you find a pulse?
I couldn't remember. I don't think so.
What else? What, if anything else, did you do?
We called 911 and just stayed there. And then another physician came out, and I believe he was doing CPR to the victim.
Your Honor, if I may approach the witness.
You may.
Dr. Coleman, I have shown you what has been previously marked in State's Exhibit number 3. If you could take a look at that and tell me if you recognize that.
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
This is the 911 call.
Are your initials on that?
Yes, sir.
Have you listened to that?
I have.
Okay, is that a fair and accurate representation of the 911 calls that you made on November the 18th, 2010?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time the state would offer State's Exhibit Number 83 into evidence.
Any objection, 83? It's submitted, you may post it to the jury if you wish.
Thank you.
Pickup Hemy Neuman, what's the address of the emergency?
Oh, yeah. Somebody just shot and killed out for a Dunwoody prep. The gentleman was driving a silver caravan type car. I don't know if it's a Dodge.
Did you get a tag number?
Huh?
Did you get a tag number?
I didn't get a tag number. I saw a tag. So
Which way did it go? Which way did it go?
he headed east, Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon Road?
Yeah, he had a hat on and it almost like a beard.
Was he black, white, Hispanic?
I can't tell. He might have been. He shot.
Okay, what's the address there?
I got Dunwoody prep. I don't know.
What street is it on?
It's off of Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon, like, I don't know. I mean, somebody prepped by the post office. Yes.
Ask someone around you, what's the address there?
Does anybody know the address here? We're at the post office in Dunwoody on Mount Vernon Road. Are you kidding me right now?
Excuse me?
I don't have an address.
Okay, ask someone else, what street you're on, and two intersecting streets.
I'm told them I'm on Dunwoody prep. This guy's bleeding to death out here.
Okay, we do have paramedics on the... Okay, thank you, sir.
Was it a pretty excited, chaotic scene out there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have occasion to speak to 911 again, a second time? Did you call them back, or did they call you back?
I think they called back.
Okay, all right.
Sir, this is DeKalb County. The police and the ambulance are on their way to Dunwoody Prep to head for Dunwoody Road and Mount Vernon Road. Is the patient conscious and breathing?
We got a doctor over here right now. I just checked the pulse. I can feel the pulse.
Is he awake?
No pulse, no.
Okay. And it's a male that shot, correct?
It's a male, early 30s. He has a pulse.
He is breathing?
I don't know.
Okay, I know he's breathing. Are you right there beside him right now?
I'm sorry?
Are you right beside him right now?
Yes, we're trying to turn it right now.
Okay. If you can get a clean.
Shot in the neck.
Okay, he doesn't know the location at all.
Who doesn't?
You. We have Dunwoody Prep. Okay, what's your last name, sir?
Mine?
Yes, sir.
It's coal miners. I'm going to go in here and grab the address.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
guys put an ATV out in the mail that was in the vehicle?
Yes, sir. We have used in a silver caravan. You did not know the tag, correct?
Silver Caravan. Do you know the address here? 5493 Chevy Dunwoody Road.
Okay, thank you. 5493 Chevy Dunwoody Road. Also,
The vehicle, there was another gentleman that saw the vehicle. Anybody else?
was he black, white, Hispanic person that made the shot?
He was white, possibly Hispanic. I would say he's about 5'9", 5'10". He's got a baseball cap on. It's a silver caravan, almost looks like a Dodge. He had a hat on, it looked like he had a beard, and a silver caliber gun. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, it's the Dark City.
A dark hoodie.
Yeah, he had pictures here. I don't know. It could have been a disguise.
Okay. A white male, beard, dark hoodie, possibly Hispanic. White male or Hispanic.
Correct. Correct.
And you said he was about 5'9"?
Yeah, about 5'9", 5'10". Tough shot. Yeah, I saw who did it.
Is he,
Another soul little down. Guy had a cap on, a silver Dodge Chrysler Caravan, beard, a silver caliber. So that color silver.
okay, sir. Let me know when the officer gets right there with the patient, officer and ambulance.
Then do we? Everybody should be there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Lane, may cross-examine if you wish.
Dr. Kohler, you didn't actually see the shooting, you just heard it, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions, counsel?
No.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Lawyers, may this witness be released and excused from subpoena, or do you want him to remain in the subpoena?
He can be released, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, sir.
This is goes. Thank you. Thank you. Call your next witness.
State call Sybil Warner.
Go ahead and have a seat for me. Go ahead and raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm that the testimony shall give this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You may lower your hand. Please state your cover name for the record.
Sybil Warner.
Could you go ahead and spell it for the record, please?
Sybilwarner.
Ms. Warner, where are you employed?
At the Dunwoody Police Department.
And in what capacity do you work for the Dunwoody Police Department?
I'm their crime scene technician.
Okay. And how long have you been with Dunwoody?
Since their incorporation, that's since 2009.
Okay. And you said it's crime scene
Technician.
technician? Okay.
Yes.
Can you explain to the jurors what that is exactly?
Okay, well, the crime scene technician is basically the same thing as a crime scene investigator. It's just a different title. So my job is to go out to crime scenes, photograph evidence in the scene, collect that evidence, process it in whatever capacity is needed.
Okay. And do you go out on every single crime or just on certain occasions?
Only on certain occasions. A lot of our officers are cross-trained, so they help me in processing since I'm the only crime scene person that Dunwoody Police has.
Okay. And you said you've been with Dunwoody since 2009. Did you work anywhere else as a crime scene investigator or crime scene tech before that?
Yes, I did. I worked for the Cobb County Police Department for 5 years.
For 5 years, okay. And now what kind of training do you have with regards to being a crime scene tech?
Well, I had to have a 4-year degree, so I have a degree in criminal justice. I went through a 6-month field training with the Cobb County Crime Scene Unit, and then I also got my Georgia Post certification as an identification technician at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center.
Okay, and is that back when you worked with DeKalb County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then do you have to do anything, since you transferred over to Dunwoody, do you have to do anything on an annual basis to recertify, or are you just continuously certified?
I'm continuously certified. There's no recertification.
Okay, okay. Do you have to do anything to keep up your accreditation? Any training hours or anything like that?
Just because I've extended my expertise into latent print examination and things of that nature, so not directly related to crime scene, but in other areas.
Okay. Were you working for the Dunwoody Police Department back on November 18th, 2010?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and specifically that day, were you on duty?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And where were you in the morning hours around 9:15 on November 18th, 2010?
I was at Dunwoody Police Headquarters.
Okay. And at any point were you called out to Dunwoody Prep?
Well, actually, that particular morning, I was telling my sergeant that was going to be my last day. I was going to go home to deliver my child. I was 9 months pregnant. So when the call came out, I actually asked, could I assist? And I was granted that opportunity to assist another agency with processing that crime scene.
Okay, and what other agency was going to be filling in for you while you were out having your baby?
The Sandy Springs Police Department.
Okay, and so then did you go out there and meet the Sandy Springs Police Department crime scene tech out there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and were you there the entire time? Were you able to see the scene the entire time?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Talk to the jury a little bit about what you first observed when you got there.
Okay, when I got there, I responded to a person shot. The person had already been removed. So when I got there, crime scene investigator Helm had already started identifying certain pieces of evidence that were already located. I did observe a light-colored Infiniti with some spray painted areas where they saw cartridge casings. That's the same as I guess, bullet shells. I also observed some clothing and some shoes next to that Infinity, and then the Infinity was parked next to a daycare.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 53 for identification. You take a look at that and let me know. Do you recognize that area that's in that photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you recognize that to be?
Well, this is an aerial photo of the daycare center and the surrounding parking lot.
Okay, and based on your experience and what you know of that area and working the scene that day, does that photograph accurately depict what, we're not talking about the vehicles that are there, but the building, the layout of Dunwoody Prep?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, State tender State's Exhibit 53.
Any objection to 53?
No, Your Honor.
53 is a made file objection. You may publish it if you wish.
Thank you. Okay, are you able to see that on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, looking at the screen, actually, Your Honor, would it be okay if she stepped off the stand?
Yes, ma'am. You may come
And may
in.
I approach
You
as well,
can
Your
come
Honor?
in. You may approach.
Thank you.
You gotta just stand in the way so the jurors can see whatever you're pointing at.
I will, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Now, can you point out for the jurors where is the Dunwoody Prep in this photograph, in this aerial photograph?
It's this building right here.
Okay. And are you familiar with what else is around there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you familiar with is there a post office in that area?
Yes, it is. It's actually across the parking lot over in this area. Actually, this is it right here, where this parking lot loops through.
Okay, okay. And what are some of these other buildings in the area, just to kind of give us a layout of the land?
I don't know the exact business names. I know that there is a pediatrician's office down here. If you go on this side of the plaza, there's a Walgreens, there's a Fresh Market, and these are a bunch of small businesses that I've never visited.
Okay. Next to Dunwoody Prep, there seems to be an area that looks like it has a wall around it. Do you see that?
Right here.
Okay. And what is that?
This is the playground that belongs to the daycare.
Okay. And as we're looking at that, can you point out for the jurors in State's Exhibit 53, where is the parking lot that goes along with Dunwoody Prep?
The parking lot that goes along with Dunwoody Prep is pretty much, there's parking spaces here, and then I'm guessing this area over here. There is a walk-through area over here, but I think this is the primary parking lot for the daycare.
Okay. Okay. You can have a seat. Okay. Thank you. So now, can you explain to the jurors a little bit, when you first get on a scene like this, what is the first thing that you do?
The first thing that I do is I do a walkthrough of the scene with whether it be a first responding officer, a detective. In this case, it was a walkthrough with the crime scene investigator that had already begun marking the scene, just to see what's there. Because just coming onto the scene, all I knew was what kind of scene it was. I didn't really know where the evidence was located.
Okay. And do you recall what time of day you got there approximately?
I'll have to look at my report.
Okay. Okay.
It was in the 9 or 10 hour.
In the morning or
in the
morning?
morning?
Okay. So it was somewhere in 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning? Okay. And so once you did that walkthrough and kind of looked at the lay of the land there, what did you start doing next?
I asked crime scene investigator Helm what he needed assistance with, since he had started taking the photographs and the video. And at that time, I was just doing all the secondary photos. Like, for example, there were some attendants from the pediatrician's office who had come over to render aid, and they had blood stains on their shoes. So I took pictures of their shoes to document it, just in case there were blood footprints later found. I would have the shoes that matched those footprints to eliminate that piece of evidence.
Okay.
And then I also collected measurements. I did the sketch of the scene.
Okay. Okay. And were you present then during the photographing of the scene?
Yes, I was.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit. Let me take a look at these. State's Exhibits 54 through 77. And there's quite a few of them here, so go ahead and look at each one individually, and when you're done, let me know.
Okay.
you recognize what's depicted in each of those photos?
Yes.
And how do you recognize that?
That is what I observed at the scene.
Okay, and do these photographs accurately depict what you saw at the scene at Dunwoody Prep back on November 18th, 2010?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, at this time, State Tender States Exhibits 54 through 77.
Any objection? 54 through 77, all right, you may proceed. There are no further objection. You may call them to the jury if you wish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Are you able to see that on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. Starting this one is State's Exhibit 55 that we're looking at now. Can you tell the jurors where you are standing at this point where this photograph would have been taken?
When this photograph was taken, I was standing behind Investigator Helm. So I was pretty much walking along with him as he was taking the photographs.
Okay. And what are we looking at here in this photograph?
You're looking at the light-colored Infinity that's parked next to that brick retaining wall.
Your Honor, could I ask her to come off the stand? Okay. If you can go ahead and point out the certain areas that you're talking.
This is the light-colored Infinity. This is the wall here, and this is the Dunwoody Prep School.
Okay. And is that, can you go ahead and zoom in on that a little bit? Is that light-colored Infinity of any importance in this case?
Yes, that's the vehicle that belonged to the victim.
Okay. Okay. All right. Go to the next one.
You have a pointer for her, by any chance? I don't know.
I do, Your Honor.
Can you let her use the pointer? All right.
I don't know what that.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Go into the next photograph.
Okay, this is basically just showing what's next to the prep school and the playground that I pointed out in the aerial photo, and here's the light-colored Infinity here.
Okay, and for the record, this is State's Exhibit 54 that we're looking at. Okay, so you have now moved closer in towards the playground with
Yes.
this angle of the photograph? Okay. And do you see Rusty Sneiderman's car still in this photograph?
Yes, it's right over here to the right.
Going to State's Exhibit 56. What are we looking at here?
This is another angle of the light-colored Infinity, and these orange circles are where the 4 cartridge casings were located.
Okay. Now, could you explain to the jurors, as you're getting closer to talking about the cartridge casings, what are cartridge casings?
Cartridge casings is basically the case that surrounds a bullet. Once the bullet is fired through a firearm, the casing is ejected and usually is found at the scene. So in this case, we have 4 of them.
Okay. And would it be found at the scene typically with regards to use of a revolver or use of a semi-automatic handgun?
A semi-automatic handgun, a revolver retains this casing.
Okay. Okay. Going to the next photograph. What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 57?
Okay, this is a closer viewing of the light-colored Infinity. You can still see one of the cartridge casings here, circled in orange. Here is where the victim was located, but like I said, he was transported by the time I got here. Here's the clothing that was removed from the victim by emergency response.
Okay. Going to the next photograph. What are we looking at here in this photograph?
This is just a different angle of the same light-colored Infinity. Here you can see the 4 casings here marked in orange. This is a blood trail that transcends from the original blood stain that was showed on the other side of the car.
Okay. All right, and for the record, Your Honor, that was State's Exhibit 58. Would you go to the next photograph, please? Okay, in State's Exhibit 59, what are we looking at here?
This is showing where the car is in relation to the blood, also showing the entrance to Dunwoody Prep.
Okay, now you mentioned earlier when you were looking at the aerial photograph about like a path or a pathway through.
Yes.
Is that pictured in this photograph?
This pathway goes all the way along these buildings to the other parking lot on the other side.
Okay. You can go to the next photograph, please. Okay, in State's Exhibit 60.
Okay, this is the blood trail here, and this is the black Volkswagen that was parked on the opposite side, on the other side of the light-colored Infinity. You can kind of still see the Infinity here.
Okay. And this is taken from an angle standing right next to Dunwoody Prep, the building?
Yes, the entrance to Dunwoody Prep will be right over here, and this is leading out to the parking lot.
Okay. You go into the next photograph. Okay, and as we're standing next to Dunwoody Prep and moving in closer, what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 61?
Well, right here will be the entrance to Dunwoody Prep, so this is where you will walk to get to the parking lot. Here's a light-colored Infiniti, the black Volkswagen, and then there's the clothing that was removed from the victim by emergency response.
Okay, and then going to State's Exhibit 62, the next photograph.
Okay, this is a closer image of the front of the Infiniti, the clothing now showing the shoes, and I think that's an insole from out of the shoes, also showing the blood trail.
You go to the next photograph.
Okay, now we're standing immediately in front of the Infiniti, showing the original blood source and also some of the casings, and showing the outward view from the wall out into the parking lot.
Okay, and that is State's Exhibit 63 for the record. You go to the next photograph, please. This is State's Exhibit 64.
Okay, and this is the last side of the Infiniti, basically showing all angles of the vehicle, showing the blood stain, and also shoes and the clothing from the victim.
Okay, and so from there, from where we're looking at it from this angle, where is the front entrance to Dunwoody Prep? Are you able to see
It's
that?
right here. Here's the end of the wall, and you will go right past that area to get to the entrance.
All right. Now, did you take any further pictures of the car?
These pictures were actually taken by Investigator Helm.
I'm sorry. Were there pictures taken, I guess I should say?
Of the vehicle, I think that was the majority of them. Okay. More pictures were taken as the evidence was marked.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to the next photograph, State's Exhibit 65. What are we looking at here?
This is a defect. Well, we call it a defect because I'm not a ballistics expert, but it's presumed to be a bullet hole that was found in the lower driver's side of that Infiniti vehicle.
Okay. If you can you go back to the previous photograph, State's Exhibit 64? Are you able to ballpark where that was for the jurors?
Right here. Oh, you must have.
Can you scooch over a little bit there? Okay.
Yes, it's right here.
Okay. Going to State's Exhibit 66, the next photograph. Okay, what are we looking at here, and how does this compare to the previous photograph of the defect that you just talked about?
This is basically a close-up photograph, and here a scale is used to show you the real size of the defect, because sometimes when you zoom in, the image may seem larger than it really is, so we use a scale to show the actual measurement of the defect.
Okay, and on that measuring tool there is the number 5. Does that have any significance, the 5?
Yes, I believe a projectile was recovered from this area, and it had been labeled number 5.
Okay, and is that something that you do? Do you go back and then label everything, number everything?
Yes, everything is numbered.
Okay, so you numbered this defect as number 5?
Yes.
Okay. You go to the next photograph.
Okay, this one is,
I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is State's Exhibit 68.
okay, this was number 7. The numerical order is insignificant. It's just basically giving this piece of evidence and identity so we can keep track of how many pieces of evidence that we collect from the scene. So this was labeled as number 7, and this is what we will call a projectile. It can also be known as a bullet fragment or a bullet that was recovered from underneath the vehicle.
Okay, and let's go to the next photograph, please. This is going to be State's Exhibit 67. Is that what you were just referring to?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 85. Could you take a look at that and let me know if you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is that?
This is the projectile that was recovered from evidence marker 7, and it's still labeled on here as evidence number 7.
Okay, and is that your writing that's on the packaging?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and did you package that up back on November 18, 2010?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right. Your Honor, at this time, State Tender, State's Exhibit What number is that?
85.
85, thank you.
Any objection, 85? 85 is amended without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you go to the next photograph, please? Okay. What are we looking at here?
Okay, this whole area was labeled as evidence number 8 because it was basically just clothing items that were collected from the victim. So all these items were basically packaged together.
Okay, and where are these in relation to the victim's car, to Mr. Sneiderman's car?
This is the front of the Infinity here, and they're right up on the driver's side, the front driver's side of the vehicle.
Okay, so are these the same pants and shoes that we saw in the previous photographs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And now that you've labeled them marker number 8, typically are the photographs taken first without markers and then with the markers?
Yes, and that's done because we don't want anyone to feel like anything was covered up by the evidence marker number. So we show you the picture before and after we put the marker down.
All right, and the evidence marker number 8, were those items collected as well?
Yes, they were.
Okay, and were they collected by you?
Yes.
Going to the next photograph, please. Looking at State's Exhibit 71. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at one of the cartridge casings that was labeled as evidence number 1 that was near the vehicle.
Okay. And did you collect that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you go to the next photograph? What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 70?
Here, basically, this is showing you evidence number 2 and 3. I guess there's another photo that will actually encompass 1. But these are the cartridge casings after they were marked with the evidence markers.
Okay. And can you go to the next photograph? What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 72?
This is a close-up of the second cartridge casing that was marked.
Okay, and is that an item that you collected?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and you packaged that up yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You go to State's Exhibit, I believe the next one is 73? Yes. What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 73?
This is what we call an overall photo of evidence number 2 and 3, and it basically just shows you where they are in relation to the wall, and the victim's vehicle will actually be over here, kind of behind there.
Okay. Going to the next photograph, please.
And this is a close-up of evidence marker number 3, the cartridge casing that was found there.
Okay, and this is State's Exhibit 74. Did you collect that cartridge casing?
Yes, I did.
And can you go to the next photograph? What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 75?
This is a close-up of the 4th cartridge casing that was labeled evidence number 4.
Okay, and did you collect that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, may I approach?
You may.
So I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 84 for identification. Can you let me know if you recognize that?
Okay.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize that?
This is the bag that I used to package the 4 cartridge casings that were recovered from the scene.
Okay, and is that your rating on the front there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and have you had an opportunity to look at those? Those are the cartridge casings that you collected?
Yes, they are.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, State Manager, State's Exhibit 84.
Any objection, 84?
No objection.
All right, 84 is amended without objection.
Your Honor, if I could, can I ask Ms. Warner to come down to show the jurors the packaging?
If you wish.
Thank you. Can you show them, first of all, let's start with the front of the packaging so that they understand what kind of information is put on there. When you
Well,
collect
maybe
them.
easier to do half the jury than go to the other half, that way they can see it. So do it twice. This half and then go down to the second half.
This is the way that I package all of my evidence. It has to include the date of the incident, the case number, the incident type, the address of the location, and of course my agency, because this was submitted to the GBI.
And just for their knowledge, what is the GBI?
Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Okay.
That's our state lab. And then on the back, I have to seal it with evidence tamper-proof tape. It's very sensitive, so it'll show if the evidence has been tampered with in any way when I submit it.
Okay. And then inside the packaging, give me an idea of what we're looking at inside the packaging.
Inside the packaging, I repackaged each cartridge casing individually, basically keeping them in sync with the evidence marker numbers. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and then number 4.
Okay, and is that the standard way that you do it each time that you collect casings?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you go to the next photograph, please?
Okay, this is just another angle of evidence.
What number is it?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is State's Exhibit number 76.
Oh, you may continue.
This is another angle of the clothing that was collected from the scene.
Okay. And go to the next photograph, please. State's Exhibit 77. How is this, what did you do here with this?
It was basically just showing what clothing item it was because it was bunched up in the beginning. This is showing that it's a pair of trousers and that there's a black belt attached as well.
Okay. All right, you can have a seat. Okay, thank you. Now, once you processed the scene, took those or not took the photographs, but were present when the photographs were taken, what did you do with the items that you had collected? The shell casings and the projectile in State's Exhibit 85.
They were all transported back to Dunwoody Police Headquarters.
Okay, okay. Now, at another time in the future from that, did you have an opportunity to process a Kia Sedona?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can you explain to the jurors how that came about?
Okay, once a vehicle was identified as being involved with the shooting, it was towed to Brown & Brown Record Service. That's the police impound lot that the Dunwoody Police Department uses to hold vehicles. At that point, I went out, I took pictures of the vehicle showing its overall appearance of the exterior and interior. And then I also processed the vehicle for fingerprints and any other pieces of evidence that I could locate.
Okay, and in processing the vehicle, did you find anything of value in the vehicle?
I was able to recover a blood stain that I tested at the scene, but it was deemed as non-human by the GBI later.
Okay.
From that.
So other than that, what you thought might have been something related to the case, the blood stain, did you find anything else of interest or of evidentiary purpose in the case?
No, I did not.
Okay. Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you recall what date it was that you processed the Kia Sedona?
I'll have to look at my report.
Okay. Would it help if I showed you that?
Yes.
Okay, permission to approach, Your
You
Honor?
may.
Without reading directly from there, just look at that and see if that refreshes your memory at all.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And it was on the 6th of January, 2011. 2011.
I'm going to show you, I'll trade you.
Okay.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 78, 79, 80, and 81. Okay. And if you can take a look at those items and let me know if you recognize those photographs.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how do you recognize those?
These are the pictures that I took of the Kia Sedona minivan at Brown & Brown Record Service.
Okay, and do those photographs accurately reflect the actual Kia Sedona that was there, that was towed there, that was believed to be involved in this incident?
Yes.
Okay. Permission, Your Honor, at this time, State tenders State's Exhibit 78, 79,
80, 81.
80, and 81.
Any objection?
No objection.
78, 79, 80, and 81, without objection.
Thank you. Permission to publish?
Do as you wish.
Thank you. Okay, looking at State's Exhibit 78, what are we looking at here?
You're looking at the front view of the Kia Sedona.
Okay, and where is it at this time?
Right now, it is at Brown & Brown Record Service. It's parked outside in the impound lot.
Okay, and can you go to the next photograph? What are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 79?
This is the passenger side view of the Kia Sedona.
Okay. Go to State's Exhibit 80, the next photograph.
And this is the rear view.
Okay. And are you able to see the tag on that vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, could you blow that up? Tag. What is, if you could read into the record, what is that tag that's on that vehicle?
It's G as in golf, K as in kilo, Q as in Quebec, 258.
Okay, and what state is that tag from?
South Carolina.
And if you go to the next photograph, please. Okay, looking at States Exhibit 81, what are we looking at here?
This is the manufacturer information for the vehicle, and I usually take a close-up photograph of it to get a clear shot of the VIN number, which is another identifiable feature.
Okay, and do you see the VIN number in States Exhibit 81?
Yes, I do.
Okay, could you blow that up? Could you go ahead and read that VIN number out?
Sure. It's K as in kilo, N as in November, D as in Delta, M as in Michael, G as in Golf, 4, C as in Charlie, 78, B as in Bravo, 656 4633.
Thank you. Tough questions I have here.
All right, Ms. Sampson, you may cross-examine if you wish.
Do you know what type of casings you collected?
I believe they were 40 caliber Smith & Wesson.
Okay, so were they all the same brand?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Lord has made this witness be released and excused for subpoena. Do you want her to remain on the stand?
She can be released, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, investigator, you're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Drive safe. Call your next witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Kelly Fight.
You may.
Go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm that the testimony shall give this court should be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Kelly Fight,
Do you spell your name for the court reporter, please, Mr. Fight?
Kellyfite.
All right. Mr. Fight, please tell the jurors, how are you employed?
I'm an independent firearms examiner,
And how long have you been an independent firearms examiner?
about 15 years.
Prior to becoming an independent firearms examiner, what did you do?
I worked at the GBI Crime Laboratory in firearms. I was a firearms supervisor for 20 years. We did crime scenes and any kind of shooting evidence that was wanted, that the DAs wanted us to look at.
All right. And so in total, how long have you been doing, how long have you been a firearms examiner, either for the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or now as an independent examiner?
40-something years.
Can you tell the jurors just a little bit about what you do as a firearms examiner? What do you look at? What do you attempt to compare? And what conclusions can you reach?
Well, basically, the basic requirements are that you're able to use a microscope and compare known bullets or known cartridge cases with question bullets and question cartridge cases and be able to extract the truth from those. Also muzzle to target distances, how far the weapon was from the target when it was fired, if there's evidence on the target, and any other kind of shooting reconstruction like car shootings and anything like that, blast, direction, things of that nature.
Mr. Fight, in your 41 years in this line of work, have you testified in court before?
Yes.
Can you approximate how many times you've testified in court before?
I testified in state, superior, and federal courts about 1,700 times.
Have you testified for both the state and for the defense in criminal matters?
Yes.
And on each of those occasions, were you accepted as an expert in your field?
Yes, I was.
Your Honor, at this time, the state tenders Mr. Fight as an expert in the field of ballistics examination.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be considered as an expert in this field. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Fight, can you tell the jurors, please, what, if any, involvement did you have into the investigation of the shooting of Russell Sneiderman?
I was contacted by Dunwoody PD and asked if I would look at some evidence, and I did.
Tell the jurors, what evidence did you look at?
On February the 3rd of 2011, Detective Andrew Thompson of the Dunwoody Police Department brought me 4 bullets, 2 bullets from autopsy and 2 bullets from the crime scene. And I looked at those bullets.
Were you able to tell anything at that time about the ballistics evidence that you examined?
All the bullets were .40 caliber. All of them showed six grooves with a right end twist, and it was polygonal rifling rather than the usual cut rifling that you see in bullets.
Okay. And for those of us who are not firearms examiners, when you talk about firings, can you tell the jurors a little bit about what that is? What do you see when you look at those casings or those bullets?
Talk about what?
Well, you talk about the markings on the...
Oh, the markings on the
bullet.
Thank you. Any weapon, rifle or pistol, has rifling in the barrel. Rifling is a raised ridge that runs from the chamber to the end of the barrel. Usually there's 5, 6, 7, 8, or even 10 of these. And they incline to the right or the left, so that when the bullet goes down the barrel after the gunpowder explodes and pushes the bullet down the barrel, they impart a spin to that bullet. If the grooves turn to the right, then it makes the bullet spin to the right. If they're inclined to the left, then it spins to the left. What it does, it makes a weapon much more accurate than if it were just not spinning at all.
All right. You were able to tell that there were .40 caliber bullets. Were you able to tell anything else from the evidence that you received from Detective Thompson on that date?
Yes, it had polygonal rifling. Cut rifling is when, like most weapons, where the lands and grooves in the barrel, the lands are square and the grooves are square, and they impart to the left or the right. Polygonal rifling is like very gentle humps and depths of valleys, humps and valleys. And that's what this gun that fired this bullet had. It was polygonal rifling, and polygonal rifling is put in a lot of modern guns now, like Glocks and cars and other guns. I think there's like 6 or 7 mates that use polygonal rifling. The manufacturers like to use polygonal rifling so that the bullet will go a little faster out of a weapon that has polygonal rifling than it would if it had just standard cut rifling.
At the time that you did this initial comparison to the first items of evidence that were brought to you, did you have anything to compare those items to?
No, I just, the 4 bullets that Andrew Thompson brought to me, I compared them to each other and noted that they all were bullets probably fired from the same gun that had polygonal rifling.
Did you review any casings that were identified as coming from the scene?
Yes, on February the 3rd, Andrew Thompson came earlier than the day when he brought the bullets, and he brought 4 Winchester cartridge cases. These cartridge cases were .40 caliber. They had elliptical firing pins. All of them matched each other.
All of them matched each other?
Yes.
At this point, did you have anything to compare these items of evidence to?
No.
And what would you need to be able to match these casings or the projectiles to either the same weapon or to each other?
The weapon that fired them would have been nice.
When you say it would have been nice, would it have been of evidentiary value to you? Would it have been of evidentiary value? Is that something you could use to develop evidence?
Yes.
Okay. In cases where a known weapon is not available, is there anything else you can use to compare the ballistics evidence you told us about?
when a firearms manufacturer manufactures a semi-automatic handgun, when they ship the gun from the factory, they also ship a cartridge case, a test cartridge case from that gun in the box with the gun.
Why did they do that?
I don't really know what their reasoning was, but the guns that I bought recently that had the cartridge case in there, I like that. So if a gun gets stolen or something, that I have a cartridge case from it.
All right. In the absence of an actual weapon, is a casing from the weapon from a casing that was fired from that same weapon, does that have any evidentiary value to you?
Yes, just like a test cartridge case.
Okay. And what can you do with that known or test cartridge case?
You can compare it with anything that you think will match it or should match it.
May I push the witness down?
You may.
Mr. Fight, I'm going to show you what has already been marked as State's Exhibit number 86. I'm going to ask if you recognize it.
I recognize and identify State's Exhibit 86. It's a manila envelope. You don't mind if I open it?
I do not.
Okay. And it contains a smaller manila envelope. And inside the manila envelope is a Remington .40 caliber cartridge case.
Mr. Fight, I'm going to ask you, with the permission of the court, would you step down and just show the jurors what you're identifying?
Let me come down, if he could do it in half sections, that way they can see.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Would you just show the jurors what we're looking at?
Yes, sir. I've heard there's an objection.
Just ask the exhibit to be admitted.
I didn't hear you.
Just ask the exhibit to be admitted.
I was saying that objection. That's not presented until it's been admitted.
You know what, Mr. Fight, let me ask you a question just while you're standing right there and before you show that to the jurors. You said you recognized and you identified State's Exhibit number 86. How was it that you were able to determine the identification of State's Exhibit number 86?
I put it in the manila envelope and it's my writing on the manila envelope.
All right, and where did you get State's Exhibit number 86?
Got it from Mark Potter of the DA's office.
Investigator Mark Potter in the District Attorney's office?
Yes.
Do you recall the date that you received that information?
Yes.
I'm sorry, not information, that evidence.
February the 3rd of 2010.
February the 3rd, 2010 is when you've identified for us that you received the evidence from...
2011.
2011?
Yes.
That was when you received the evidence from Detective Thompson from the Dunwoody Police Department. Can you check the report and see if that refreshes your recollection as to when you received the casing from Investigator Mark Potter in the District Attorney's office?
I received this cartridge case on February the 22nd.
Of what year?
Of 2011.
February 22nd, 2011. Your Honor, at this time the State moves to admit State's Exhibit number 86.
No objection.
86 is admitted without objection. Motion to the jury's wish.
Thank you.
Actually, what we're going to, that's a great causing point right now. I'm going to go ahead and let the ladies and gentlemen have their break as I normally do consistently. Deputy Garrett, have back in the box in 9 minutes. All right.
You may be seated.
I should stay. I'm sorry about that. No, I'm good.